Hello students. Now we are going to start with the topic concept and classification of resources. So in this we'll be talking about the concept, the renewable resources, the types of non-renewable resources and the conservation of resources. So let's understand basically what does resource mean. Resource is a naturally occurring material. It is basically useful to the society. It is able to be exploited or used. It can be used. A resource can be used. The availability of a resource depends upon the physical characteristics of the resource, the economic and technological condition of society. So basically, when we talk about resource, if we put it in two different words, it means re and source, meaning anything or substance that may occur unhindered many times. But now resource has a lot of significance in today's times because they are depleting. Resources have been utilized by man right from the beginning of human civilization. Now, over here, when we talk about nature, nature has given us abundant resources in the form of water, air, heat, natural vegetation, soil, and all of that. And man, by this knowledge of his or his technical skills, is using all these resources in some other right way from civilization. Now, because the resources are depleting, the nations of all the world have started to frame utilization policies for their utilization, because the development of nation is always not only directed but also determined by its resources. So why the nations now all over the world have started to frame policies? Because the development of the nation is directed by the resources which are available in that particular country or nation. You know that economic resources basically are the factors used in producing or providing services. Basically, these economic resources are the inputs that are used to create things or help you provide. The economic resources can be divided into human resources. Now, when I talk about human resources, it can be labor and management. Non-human resources, which can be land, capital, financial resources, and technology. So when we talk about economy as a system, economy is a system of institutions and organizations that basically help facilitate or directly involve in production and distribution of goods and services. Now here resource classification. On the basis of origin, resources can be divided into two, that is biotic or abiotic. The biotic resources are the ones which are obtained from the biosphere. Forests and their products, animals, birds and their products, fish and other marine organisms are important examples. Minerals such as coal, petroleum are also included in this category because they were formed from decayed organic matter. When we talk about abiotic resources comprise of non-living things. Examples: land, water, air, minerals such as gold, iron, copper, and silver. Now, when I told you resource is basically, it means such a source which can keep ourselves dependent. It can keep ourselves dependent. Now, it does not, resource, when I talk about resource, students, it does not refer to a thing or a substance, but to a function which a thing or a substance may perform to take part. It may take part in the function by attaining a given end, such as a satisfying want. There are various definitions which are given by different authors. Again, according to Jackie Smith, resource is a feature of environment that is of value to man in one form or the other. Another one given by E.W. Zimmerman is resources mean not only the features of the environment which are considered to be capable of serving man's needs, they are giving utility by the capabilities and the wants of man. Now, when the resource has been classified into biotic and abiotic, we'll try to understand what are the classifications of the resources. Now, here we can understand on the basis of the stage of development, natural resources can be classified as these three. Now, when I talk about natural resources, you all are well aware that resource is a form of energy or matter which is essential for functioning of organisms, populations, and ecosystems. So here when I talk about natural resources, what do these natural resources refer to? Things that exist freely in nature for human use and don't necessarily need action of mankind for their generation or production is natural resource. Listen to me carefully, students. What are natural resources? They refer to the things that exist freely in nature for human use and don't necessarily need the action of mankind for their generation or production. Now, for example, land, rocks, forests, they exist freely for human use, water, bodies, fossil fuels, animals, but don't necessarily need the action of mankind to use for their generation or production. So if I talk about natural resources, it is the sum of all the physical, chemical, biological, and social factors surrounding a man may be termed as environment. Now, all of these elements exist freely, and how man uses, because all these natural resources are all connected in a way. If you see, no human created these resources, whether it's land, soils, forests, all of that. On the basis of renewability, natural resources can be classified into renewable resources. So before that, we'll understand what are potential resources under natural resources. Potential resources are those which exist in a region and may be used in future. For example, mineral oil exists in many parts of Bangladesh, having sedimentary rocks. So a particular country is very well known as it has the contents of this resource called mineral oil, and it can be used because it has sedimentary rocks, but till the time it is actually drilled out and put into use, it remains a potential resource. Until and unless a resource has not been used or not removed, it is just termed as potential resource. Actual resource are those which have been surveyed, their quantity and quality is determined and are being used in present times. For example, the natural gas which is obtained from the Bangladesh fields. Now we take for example Bangladesh. So there are some actual resources, they are those resources who are being used in present times. Potential resources are they can be put into use. Reserve resources, the part of the actual resource which can be developed profitably with available technology is called a reserve. Now, if what reserves I have, resources I have available, and the reserves which I have, if they can give me profit, it turns through the technology which I have been using for these resources is reserve resource. Then we'll come to the next part, that is renewable resources. Now, renewable resources are flow resources also. They can be the resources which can be renewed along with their exploitation, can be always available for use, are renewable resources. Now, I'm giving you an example of renewable resources: forests, air, solar energy. So when I talk about renewable resources are the ones which can be replenished or reproduced easily, like sunlight, air, wind. They are available in quantity and is not affected by human consumption. Many renewable resources can be depleted by human use but may also be replenished, thus maintaining a flow. Some of these, like agricultural crops, take a short time for renewal. Others, like forests, take even longer. So I spoke to you all about renewable resources now. When we talk about non-renewable resources, they are stock resources. Now, what do you mean by non-renewable resources? Are formed over very long geological processes. You all have heard about fossil fuels, take minimum millions of years. Minerals and fossils are included in this category. Since their rate of formation is extremely slow, they cannot be replenished once they get depleted. Means once they are over, they cannot come back again. They cannot be filled up again. Out of these, the metallic minerals can be reused by recycling them. But coal and petroleum, this is a big issue right now the whole world is facing, as it cannot be recycled. On the basis of ownership, resources can be classified into individual, community, national, and international resources. Capital resources. Now, what are capital resources? Now, there are many resources what we can talk about. So, man-made resources, capital resources. First, I'll talk about capital resources. Capital resources are resources that can be used to make more like money or tools. Key feature of capital are the availability of money for lending, the level of infrastructure, the availability and the use of tools, machines, and technologies. Now, when I speak about capital resources, we are going to try and understand one more resource, which is man-made resource. Now, when I talk about man-made resource, what am I talking about? When humans use natural things to make something new that provides utility. I repeat, when humans use natural things to make something new that provides utility and value to our lives is called man-made resources. Sorry. Now, for example, when we use metals, wood, cement to make buildings, machinery, roads, they become man-made resources. Technology also is a man-made resource, students. Today, what all technology we are using is a man-made resource. They are mostly renewable. Man-made resources are mostly renewable. Suppose you can rebuild a building, it can go into redevelopment. You can fix a broken machine, because humans have the skills, intelligence, and knowledge, and they can use technology to transform a natural resource into usable and valuable things. Then the main man-made resources, as I told you all, was urban development, transportation, and markets, like big national highways, expressways are being built. There are qualitative resources, what I want to talk about now. Qualitative resources are economic decision outcomes. When I talk about qualitative resources, they are economic decision outcomes that cannot be measured. The morale. Now, suppose the impact on employee morale of adding a break room to the production area. Customers, the impact on customers' opinions of a business if an investment is made in answering their phone calls in less time is by adding customer support staff. We get customer feedback, customer support if we have complaints against certain things. Community, the impact on the local community of allowing employees to spend a few hours of paid time assisting with community projects. Products, it is possible to use something cheaper components in products. However, if this is done too much, it may create an overall impression by reduced quality. Now, when we are going to talk about renewable resources, we know that it is one that can be used repeatedly. A renewable resource, student, can be used repeatedly. Now, so I will talk about hydroelectricity or solar energy, hydroelectricity. What is hydroelectricity or hydroelectric power? It is form of energy. It is that form of energy that harnesses the power of water in motion, such as water flowing over waterfall. How does electricity work? There is solar energy also. Let's come to that. Now, what is solar energy? It is the radiation from the sun that is capable of producing heat. causing chemical reactions or generating electricity. The sun daily provides about 10,000 times more energy to the earth than we consume. The earth receives 174 petawatts of solar radiation. This is only for your information. You all can go through this. Now, why solar energy? What are the benefits of this? Solar energy is the most readily available source of energy. It is free. Its main source is sun. It is also the most important of the non-conventional sources of energy because it is non-polluting. It is a renewable source of energy. With the figure, you all can read this figure and understand how does it work. Now, when we talk about this, it has a photovoltaic cell. Now, what is this? It is called a solar cell. It is an electric device which that converts the energy of light directly into electricity by photovoltaic effect. So this is how it works. I've tried to bring in certain and easy understandable concepts wherein this solar energy is considered as a concept. Photovoltaic effect. Now, what does this do? Sunlight is composed of photons or particles of solar energy that contain various amounts of energy corresponding to the different wavelength of the solar spectrum. Over here, the electrons which are present in valence band absorb energy being excited and jump to the conduction band and become free. What is the effect of this photovoltaic cell? So how does it work? This is what they are trying to show. Concentrated solar power. Now here what happens, they are again explaining the working over here. Concentrated solar power basically is not a type of energy that can be installed on top of one's home or building. It requires use of many mirrors using a broad expanse of land that focuses the power of the sun on a fixed tower. The tower contains salt that is heated by the concentrated sunlight where it functions similar to a battery to store heat and generate steam after the sun sets. The design can also be altered so that parabolic trough-shaped mirrors can concentrate sunlight onto a tube containing fluid, generating steam and then electricity. Now, here there is a largest hydroelectric power plant in the world, which is known as the Three Gorges Dam in China. Then basically there are different types of hydroelectric energy plants also which are available all over the world. Where is this solar energy applicable? In n number of fields, a few fields which I have mentioned before. Agriculture and horticulture, we know India is an agricultural country, so it can be definitely applied there and it can have great importance wherein this is concerned. Water treatment plants, sewage plants, cooking, normal solar gases, solar heaters, rural electrification, rural areas, lights are a big issue over there, so this can be used. Solar lamps and lighting again in rural areas. Solar vehicles, we have a lot of solar vehicles also now, and in generation of electricity. So these are the applications where solar energy as a renewable resource can be applied. What are the pros of solar energy? Now, solar energy panels, they give off no pollution. Solar energy produces electricity very quietly. It makes no noise. It has the ability to harness electricity in remote locations that are not linked at the national level. It is very efficient in large areas of the globe. Nowadays, if you see, it is very efficient in large areas of the globe. Solar panels can be installed on top of many rooftops. Solar panels can be installed. It is affordable in the long run. The use of solar energy to produce electricity allows the user to become less dependent on the world's fossil fuel supplies. What are the cons of solar energy? The major con of solar energy here is the initial cost of the solar cells. It is a little cost effective. Solar energy is only able to generate electricity during daylight hours. This means for around half of each day, solar panels are not producing energy for your home. The weather can affect the efficiency of solar cells. Pollution can be a con of solar energy as pollution levels can affect a solar cell efficiency. This would be a major con for businesses or industry wishing to install solar panels in heavily polluted areas such as cities. So this is the first renewable energy I have spoken about, is solar energy. What is the conclusion now? What do we conclude with this? The key to successful solar energy installation, before to make it a success, to make the solar energy a success, is to use quality components that have long lifetimes and require minimal maintenance. The future is bright for continued PV technology dissemination. PV technology fills a significant need in supplying electricity, creating local jobs, and promoting economic development in rural areas, avoiding the external environmental costs associated with traditional electric generation technologies. Moving on to this was what is hydropower in short. You all have been given hydropower, electricity, the advantages of hydroelectric energy. What is this? Hydropower refers to energy, mostly electric, which is derived from water in motion. This power is harnessed and used to drive mechanical devices. The main advantage of hydropower is what? For this form of energy is that it is clean and renewable. This is another renewable source of energy. Hydropower plants are actually based on rather simple concept. Water flowing through a dam turns a turbine which turns into a generator. Now, what are the advantages of this kind of hydroelectric energy? The advantages of hydroelectric energy is basically it is emission free. Now, when I talk about emission free, means the creation of hydroelectricity does not release emissions into the atmosphere. This is of course the biggest appeal of any renewable energy source. Second, what is the advantage of hydroelectric energy? It is completely renewable, means it will never run out unless the water stops flowing. Hydropower is completely renewable, which means it will never run out of water till water stops flowing. It is reliable. Basically, hydropower is by far the most reliable renewable energy available in the world. Unlike when the sun goes down or when the wind dies down, water usually has a constant and steady flow 24/7. It is adjustable. Since hydropower is so reliable, hydro plants can actually adjust the flow of water. It can create lakes. Lakes can be used for recreational purposes. They can be used for recreational purposes and can even help draw in tourists. Now, what are the disadvantages of hydroelectric energy? Some of the disadvantages of hydroelectric energy is the impact on fishes. To create a hydro plant, a running water source must be dammed. This prevents fish from reaching their breeding ground. This is the biggest issue. When I have to create a hydro plant, it has continuous running water source. So what happens is fishes cannot reach their breeding ground, which in turn affects any animal that relies on those fish for food. Limited plant locations. While hydropower is renewable, there are limited places in the world that are suitable for this kind of construction. On top of this, some of these places are not close to major cities that could benefit from this energy. High initial costs. While no power plant is easy to build, hydro plants require you to build a dam to stop running water. As a result, they cost more than similarly sized fossil fuel plants. Then here it is susceptible to droughts. While hydropower is most reliable renewable energy, it is dependent on the amount of water in any given location. Students, we know it requires a running water source. So it requires amount of water in any given location. Thus, the performance of any hydro plant could be affected by drought. There is flood risk. When dams are built at higher elevation, they pose a serious risk to any town nearby or below it. So these are the disadvantages of hydroelectricity. This is inside a hydropower plant. Have a look at this, how through turbines it turns and turns out into a generator. There are reservoirs. A dam needs to be constructed. This is a hydropower. This is a flow chart about a hydropower. Hydropower stands as the most significant renewable energy source. It uses the single but very powerful energy force of moving water. By some comparison, it competes with the energy produced by fossil fuels and nuclear power, but it is considered much cleaner and more simplistic. Hydropower remains popular even in the third world countries which do not have the resources to build expensive nuclear generating stations. Hydropower does not pollute the atmosphere or environment. Now coming to the third renewable energy. These are some facts about hydropower energy, what you all can go through. These are the types of hydropowers: impoundment, diversion, pumped storage. What are the economic impacts? Also, you all can write it. Large dams have been promoted as providing cheap hydropower and water supply. Today we know better. The cost and poor performance of large dams were in the past largely concealed by the public agencies that built and operated the projects. Dams consistently cost more and take longer to build. We know it requires a lot of capital and investment. In general, the larger a hydro project is, the larger its construction cost overrun in percentage terms. Yes, coming to the third renewable energy, we are talking about wind. Simple, this is what is wind energy. Wind is the stabilization movement of air between areas of high and low atmospheric pressure created by the uneven heating of the earth's surfaces, land, water and air. The greater the pressure difference between these areas, the harder the wind blows. Wind also exists as the circulation of air around a high or low pressure. Wind energy as a renewable source of energy. Wind energy is the converting of wind power to electric power through the use of windmills or turbines. Electricity produced is sent to transformers where voltage is increased and sent to the power grid via transmission lines. Now, where does this wind energy all come from? All renewable energy except tidal and geothermal power ultimately comes from the sun. The earth receives 1.74 into 10 raised to the power of 17 watts of power per hour. Differential heating of the earth's surface and atmosphere induce vertical and horizontal air currents that are affected by the earth's rotation and contours of the land. This is how you all have seen these windmills. A windmill captures wind energy and then uses a generator to convert it to electric energy. The design of a windmill is an integral part of how efficient it will be. When designing a windmill, one must decide on the size of the turbine and the size of the generator. What are these wind turbines now? The larger wind turbines, they are able to deliver electricity at lower cost than smaller turbines because foundation costs, planning costs are independent of size. These wind turbines basically are well suited for offshore wind plants. In areas where it is difficult to find sites, one large turbine on a tall tower uses the wind extremely efficiently. Small turbines. Local electric grids may not be able to handle the large electric output from a large turbine. So smaller turbines may be more suitable. Landscape considerations are given. High cost for foundations for large turbines may not be economical in some areas. This is a wind turbine generator. This is how it looks. The wind power generators, they convert wind energy, mechanical energy to electric energy. When the wind does not blow, do fossil fuel generating units have to be kept running on a standby basis? No. Wind speed rises and falls gradually. This is the scientific reason why when the wind does not blow, what happens? What is the lifetime environmental impact of these windmills or wind turbines? Noise. Now they actually cast a moving shadow on a nearby residence. So this is what they're talking about. It's a shadow flicker. A wind turbine's moving blade can cast a moving shadow on a nearby residence depending on the time of the year and time of the day. Normally, it should not be a problem in the US because at US latitudes, except in Alaska, the sun's angle is not very low in the sky. Wherein your TV and radio receptions, modern small residential wind turbines will not interfere with communication signals. Large wind turbines can interfere with the radio or TV signals if a turbine is in line of sight between the receiver and the signal source. Last, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Wind is free. Wind farms need no fuel. Produces no waste or greenhouse gases. This is the advantages of wind energy. The land beneath can usually still be used for farming. The wind farms can be tourist attractions. It is a good method of supplying energy to remote areas. Disadvantages, what is it? The wind is not always predictable. Some days have no wind. Suitable areas for wind farms are often near the coast where land is expensive. Some people feel that covering the landscape with these towers is unsightly, means it's not a good sight to watch out for. It can kill birds, migrating flocks, and tend to like strong winds. However, this is rare and we tend not to build wind farms on migratory routes anyway. The disadvantage is it can affect television reception, as we just got to know. It can be noisy. They can have a reputation for making a constant low swooshing noise day and night, which can drive you nuts. So with this we come to an end of lesson 3 lecture, wherein we've covered what is renewable resources, natural resources, man-made resources. I've discussed about non-renewable resources and the types of renewable resources which I discussed in detail is hydroelectric power or hydroelectricity energy, solar energy and wind energy. Thank you, class.